So we continue the session 5. Yep, session 5, part 2. Let's just copy the link so I have it nice. Where is my, here it is. I have too many windows. This is not ideal thing. Topic. Master. I have to save the previous link to another link to fill it in the Git later. Oops, I don't want this. And this. So we stopped at we had the list of files in the ATC, and we can do some regular expression with it. Well, maybe not, because this will be better for other session where we have the versions. Where are we? Too many windows. I think it was somewhere here. Well, never mind. So we stopped here at the conf files. So now this is just these are just strings. So well, this can be like forming a data structure. We just have a list now, and we might want this as a dictionary where the key will be the path to the file, and then we can have some statistics about the files. So the way we will do this, let me just try one thing. No, that doesn't work. Well, we just want we can do it something like this for key in conf files, and we have to do like files dict will be dictionary, and we can do something like files dict key equals new dictionary. Shift enter, and now files dict will be like dictionary, and there will be another dictionary in the for each file. So now we can do something like this, and save like size and ATC, and we don't want to do this manually, of course. I just want to show that we can, for each file, we can have like key for size, key for stats or ATC, because OS has these stuff. I mean, there's probably better way how to do it like all at once, but for this course we are just showing how to do it manually. So I will just make a few comments so it makes sense when I open the Python notebook later. So first of all, I will do docstring for the list all files structure function. So list all files in folder with filter, and I can do filter. Here is like required parameter, and I just want to do it optional, so I just will do this, and that will mean that I have to save it. That will mean if I don't specify any filter, it will list all the files. Just to show, it will be all the files. Yeah, it's all the files in the ATC. We don't want that, we want just the conf files. Yeah, this can stay, and this is use each file path in conf files in ATC use each file path from list conf files to create a key in files dict dictionary. Yeah? And yeah, I will, this is like for this, and create new dictionary for each key, because normally we could just have something like you know, some value like none, which would create this, and we want to prepare the structure. Yeah, actually I have to do this again. So it's just these conf files, and run this again, and so we just have it. Oh, actually it's, yeah, it's time. Sorry. So we don't want just none. We wanted to prepare for this, because well, this wouldn't work. Yeah, I mean, I will show it. We can still access the value. Come on. No. Yeah, it will be none, but we cannot do something like size equals. Yeah, it will tell us it doesn't work. So we want this. Yeah, and this will work. Dapat smysl? So what we will do, we have now prepared the structure somewhat like this. Yeah, and we will just make it empty again. So this can be function as well, but we will keep it as it is. So now we want to do, well, first of all we will explore how to access these as a normal file. So one way we can do that is use OS exists. Actually we can do for, because we know that when we do for in a dictionary, when we just do when we iterate dictionary just without any keys or items, it will use keys, but it's better to be more verbose and write keys, and just write iterate through keys, in this case pass to file, and print OS exists file. So oops, I did some typo. Of course. Well, no. I'm missing E in, of course. So true, all is true. All files exist. So we will still do this check. It's better to do it, because if the file wouldn't exist, we cannot do any actions on it, but we just checked that the file, the string itself, can be accessed as a, well, we can for example remove the file or do something with it. We will definitely not remove my conf files, that would be terrible, and they are luckily protected, so it wouldn't be so easy. I would have to run the Python process as a root. Luckily I don't, so there is no way, no worries. And what I want to show in IPython now is that I will just use the import OS and go to ATC, and for example, well, I will just explore what I can do with the files. I think there is OS stat, and I can ask that it will perform a stat. So if you do normal stat on a file, for example profile, no, okay, so that doesn't work here, but it should work here. Yeah, so we get something like this. We get size, some device, inode, access, the mode, when it was the last time it was accessed, when it was born, the file, and etc. So OSStat gives us the path is the path of the file. I'm not sure what the star is for. And there is follow symlinks. We will not do symlinks this way. I mean, we will still check if, but I don't think any of the, actually I will check if any of these files are symlinks. Well, I'll just do find ATC. Well, I can do, yeah, find ATC. Come on, stupid phone. iname, and I have to do iname. There's name and iname in find. Iname just means case insensitive. So oops, it's normal. Yeah. So, and we can do exec ls. Oops, that's only one, and I think it's something like this. No. How is it? So when I don't know how to use something, find exec. There's some, yeah, it's slash, this slash. Okay. This is some, yeah, and we can do lh. Oops, that's too long. Again. So definitely some of the conf files, yeah, from systemd, they are linking to another folder. There, yeah. So ATC fonts. I'm not sure what it does mean. What that means for us in the code. Let's see. Because I don't think it will be an issue. We will see, but definitely keep in mind that symlinks are very important, because these are not hard links. Symlinks just means that the file itself, its size, it's not the real file. It's just a link. It just says, hey, I'm actually this file. I'm not the file itself. I'm just a link. And there's some difference between hard links and symlinks, and it can get pretty complicated. That's Linux stuff. We will not get too much deep into it. Same thing is in Windows. It's yeah, instead of ln file ln command, it's make link and etc. But no need to get into this. Just keep in mind that some of the functions in OS, they have, well, it's by default follow symlinks, because in some cases you might not want to follow symlinks. But anyways, it's not important. So we will just do OSStat and the profile, and we'll see what it gets. Yeah, so that's nice. It gives us a result. So let's actually investigate. It's a OSStat result. we get the OS stat result and the A. Yeah, so it's nice. We can just use A, and so what was this? Create time. Yeah, so it's stat create time. So we can just do, yeah, in the code it will be very simple. So let's go D here. So check if the file exists, because we might have like try and except here, like try to do this on a file, but it's better to just do if the file really exists, then do this, and we avoid any try and excepts, which is always better, I think. And we can just do OS stat file, and we just save the stat. So let's investigate what we actually want to save and how we will name it. So actually that's stat profile. So the access is the mode, size that's same, UID it belongs to root, group also. Yeah, so first of all let's create size. And with our data structure, it's very simple to just do yeah, files dict. The file is the key, and then we will do name the key deeper size, and it will be current stat, and what's the I think it's size, no, it's st size. Yeah, so it will be bytes. We can keep it in bytes. We can do some calculation later, and it will be same for all of the other values we are interested. So this way I don't have to like guess what's the how it's saved. I can just always you know, try OS stat for the specific file, and for example some config. So I think there is the IPython also supports tab completion via errors, but I want the files itself. So I think it was, let's just do ls. So for example mdmconf, yeah, so different file, doesn't matter. We'll just in our case it's we are interested in the actually what these values mean. Yeah, because I'm not the device, I'm not even sure. Yeah, so let's save the group, and I make the point you can do the same. Sorry, you can do the same for all of the, like, the creation time. Actually we can do the creation time and convert it to a human readable time. That might be interesting. So this group is, what is it? Group is stgid, group ID, then the user, and we can test it already. Then we will do the, oops, too many windows, UID, yeah, so that's it. So now we get for each yeah, so this is not very interesting because all of the files belong to root. That is group 0 and user 0, but at least the size is there. So now let's do the time. So we will be interested in, well, there's access time, modify time, and change time. So change, let's do all three. Yeah, so that's these three files, and then there is just links and device and inumber and mode, which I'm not sure. What's the mode? Well, I was thinking it will give us mode like this, but it's something else. Not sure. You can always check the documentation. Python OS stat. And there are definitely some, like, you know, Python file stat library. So somebody definitely did something. Well, they didn't. Oh, but I get the same results. I was thinking that there is like some specific library which works with the I mean, so we don't have to do this, but this is so simple. There is no protection bits. Okay, it's so simple. There is no library using this OS stats. Yeah, so it's just you know, I'm not sure in which case you would need it. This is just for the education. So let's just do the yeah, all the times, and let's do daytime. And now I'm not sure how to do this, so I will just Google this: Unix time to human readable time, human time, Python, and it will be now in some from timestamp. Yeah, very simple. So daytime from timestamp, and I'm not sure because this is a string, so it has to be integer. So we just do this, and we get daytime object, and let's check that's access time for the file mdadm.conf, and that's works as the same. Yeah, so 2004/24 11:50:08. Yeah, so we can just do this. Okay, where is it? So I don't want to do it. Okay, first of all, I will create just new cell, save it here, and I want to use all the access, modify, and creation time. So I will first save all of those three. So I will do time access, then time modify, and time creation, and it's called STM time, A time, and C time. Yes, oops. STA time, M time, and C time. And I want to save it in the Unix timestamp and also human readable. So I will just do time access _h _h. Yeah, okay, I was thinking I will do some function, but in this case the from timestamp is so simple, it's just this function, so no need to create another function because we can just use combination daytime from timestamp and integer, and that's it, because we can combine it into a function, but it's really not worth it. So instead of this, yeah, so we can see it's pretty readable from the just I'll just make another comment, save the stat for current file, and get all the info from stat we want. Yeah, so that's M time and C time. Let's run it. And I didn't define daytime, so I will do import daytime because it's nice to import all of the libraries on top, and it's also nice to do it in alphabetic order. And I also like what I needed for OSWalk and OS stat, because we might just do from OS import walk and stat, and just use it without OS, just use walk and stat without OS dot before, but in this case it's no real advantage besides saving a few bytes of memory. On our computers with gigabytes, it really doesn't matter. For converting Unix time to human readable, I mean to daytime, because it's actually not human readable time. That's we will call it D because it's not a human readable string. It's actually daytime object. So let's run it. I did typo. Now it works. Now it's C, and we get for each file, we get the access, and we get the daytime object, which is very important. That is, it's not a string. Yes, and we can do many other stuff with the files. We can do like read the files or whatever, like do whatever else you want with the files. What could we do with them? I'm not sure. Yeah, let's just keep it as it is. It's okay. Now we have this, and what we will do with it? We can save it into some. Yeah, we can save the results. Now save the results to JSON. So we will use import JSON for dumping. So now if we just do with open result.json as IOM-wrap, because open creates a IOM-wrap, I mean the input-output wrapper, and for, I mean, yeah, let's do this, and it will fail. You'll see. We'll use dump. How is it used? Yeah, JSON dump. It's, of course, there is no file like this. We have to use write. JSON dump not found. Come on. Yeah, because I didn't. Now I did it. JSON dump uses object, which will be the dictionary, and fp, which is the file. How is it? Fp is the file object. Yeah, file-like object. Yeah. And our other stuff, which we don't care about right now, we will do some kind of fix. We will see. So yeah, let's just do it. We will see when it will fail on. So the files dict and the IOM-wrap as the file-like object, and it will fail because object of type datetime is not JSON serializable, because we know that JSON is some standard, and all of these are okay, but datetime it doesn't know what that is. Yeah. So what we will do is that we will convert this to a human readable time, and there are a couple of ways. We can either do it here to iterate again through the files dictionary and fix it, or we can just, which is much better, to fix the current original issue. And well, it depends. In this case, it's easier for us to not use the datetime object at all, because in the end we just want the human readable time, and we can always get the datetime object from the timestamp using these functions. But you might think that okay, I still want to have in the files dict these, and I just want to iterate again through it and fix it afterwards. But I don't think that's good, because you iterate 2 times, and that's just a waste of time for a processor. Just do it more efficiently. Yeah. It depends really what you want to do, but in this case, it's really it's really better to do it like this, I think. So we can actually do function, which will do here. So def from timestamp to human readable, and it will take integer, no, Unix time. Actually, this brings me, when I'm writing the function, there is some pep that it will specify that I'm expecting an integer, but I don't recall it, and I don't know. I'm not sure how it works, because it's quite new in Python, and it actually it's just a doc, and I mean, it's just for documentation. The code itself doesn't really checks it, but pylint, which is like pylint is a code analysis for Python. There are many videos about it, and the way it works, it's maybe, yeah, it will just go through your code and tells you, oh, there is some issue, like, you know, this doesn't make sense, because you are expecting, in my case, it might say you are expecting integer, but I mean, you can write, I'm expecting integer and I will return a string, and it will analyze your code and tells you, oh, you are actually giving it integer, but you are returning something else. And it might not make sense right now, but in some more specific cases, I mean, in more complex situations, it will definitely help, because you might get lost what is what type is what, and then you can get lost. But in this case, we know that we get Unix, I mean a string, and we will convert it to an integer. So we can just remind it here, Unix time, I mean, Unix time is expected to be string, because we will convert it to an integer, because we don't want to use our function from timestamp to human readable and pass it with int. We will just pass it without int, and the function itself will convert it to an integer. And actually, I did like the string like this with the 3 quotes, which is for more lines, and I will actually tell what it does, and I will do it like this: converts Unix time to datetime, and then to human readable string. So let's just do int Unix time, and we can do it all at once. Well, let's just do it. Date time, date object, and then return date object. And we saw it before that we only have a date object. There is some stringify time, so yeah, let's just use this. We did it in previous part, you recall, I think. It's just stringify time, yeah. So that's it. Stringify time, I didn't. Strfr time, I think. Yeah. Let's see, yeah. Because stringify time will be a mouthful, like stringify, you know, but like, let's just use strfr time, yeah. So, and we can just test it in this cell. Let's pass some Unix time. Without the comma. Gone. Yeah, it works. So now I'll just delete this cell. Where is it? Delete cell. So it's nice. And I will just change this function to from Yeah, I hit tabulator, and I can do the same for all the 3 times. And now I will show something. I think I can show it in the... Oh, I will show something else. You know, for the Python tutor, when we have multiple fors, multiple iterations. So now it's all nice, and it's actually quite big now. If we check it, oops. Well, the keys are still there, but we can. There is also like size, I think. No, it's actually like this. Files.dict has underscore size. Oh, no, it doesn't. Come on. There are the underscores methods. Maybe there is like get size of a dictionary in Python. Yeah, just to check. There's get size of. Interesting. Yep. Come on, switching like crazy. So I can just do it temporarily. This is like inline command. I mean 1 line. I will just do it like this. It's better. And files.dict. How is it? How was it? Yeah, get size of. So sys get size of something. Sys get. Okay, let's do this. This is just not really important thing, but just interesting thing. Get size of files dict. Yeah, so it's. We will actually see it in here. So now this will work. And where are we? Yeah, just in this folder. This it's not important right now. It will be in the different folder when it will be uploaded. I mean, it's not important for you at all. And the result JSON is actually bigger. Yeah. And there is JQ. Yeah. So that's JQ is for printing JSON nicely. Yeah, so this can be as an integer, this can be as a string, because yeah, that makes sense. So I'm not sure you might use it for some report or something like that, but you know, this is working with files. Yeah, and you might for example, because it's all configs, so I might check like for example this how is it in English? Well, QEMU. It's for virtualization, so I will just check, and I can, for example, see what because lots of stuff are commented, so I can do some kind of cut and grep for the lines which are not commented, which will like show how you have configured this and you have configured that. That might be interesting. So let's do that. Okay, so this will be a little bit tricky because we can definitely do separate sets, which is not nice at all. Actually, I was interested in the get size of, because it told us it's it's no, get size of yeah, that's OS part, but it was sys get size of documentation. Just want to know, yeah. Yeah, so in the memory itself it was these much bytes, but in actual JSON file it's much bigger, as we saw. Not here, here. No, not here, here. It's yeah. Yeah, LL is this ls is alias for ls all age. Yeah, alle ALH, and that brings us in human readable form. So it's 62 fast, 62 kilobytes. If I would do just LSL, yeah, this is this many bytes. Anyways, let's do the. Let's not use subprocess because that's not nice. Okay, I know. It's function for, we can read the file with Python and do the grep ourselves, because that's the Pythonic way. The grep is not nice because we would have to filter the standard output, solve some errors and stuff. This is much better. So let's create another function, and in the end we will save it as a script. So that will be our final thing. So open file and grep, yeah. So that will be path. So with open path as iwrap. I'm using with open because I don't want to open the file, then do some stuff and then close the file. The with open will just solve it for us. So let's say, actually I want to test it, then I want to write it. So let's say I have, for example, this profile, and yeah, okay. So with open profile as iwrap, you can use readline. Okay, that doesn't work because I have to do this. Because I could do read all, but I want to do it. Sorry, of course. What am I doing? This is not. What? Okay. Hey, this is weird. I'm confused. What am I doing? Let's just do print. Yeah, this works. This is okay. iwrap, yes, definitely. Read. It's read line and read lines. Okay, we want to use read lines, so that I just use page up for getting to the previous function, and that works better. Yes, because if I use this, I would have to save the read and then work it as it later. But I want to do it. The config files are usually small, so I just wanted to do it directly when the file is open. That's also very interesting to understand that this way I will not save the contents of the file to some memory, because the file might get too big. I just want to use just the line, which will be small usually, and just directly process it, save just what I want, and be done with it. So we said that we want to do just we don't want to read lines which start with this hash, because they are comments, or they are commented in the configuration file. They are not set. We just want to see what is set, because for example, let's see some interesting file. For example, SSHD. Yeah, this is SSHD config. Let's just use vim, not cat. And you can set the port, set the listen address, and etc. But by default, it's saved by somewhere else. If you're not sure, there is always ArchWiki. Perfect wiki for everything. Secure shell, yeah. And the config is, server usage. Yeah. So by default, it's I'm not sure about this. This is not important. I was thinking, like, if I don't set it, it's probably as it is commented. It's directly in the defaults of the program. So in this case, I just have set the authorized key files and nothing else. Yeah, so we see it should be very few lines for most of the stuff. So it's very simple. It will be as we did here. Ends with, it will just do starts with. Where is it? I mean this function ends with, so we will just have starts with. Okay, so let's just do it. If line starts with, skip it. Else, yeah, this is just print it for now. So in the profile there was lots of stuff which is not commented, so we get a lot of things. So it printed these. So now we want to save it to something. So as we said, it will be a function, and we will just launch it for each file. So let's just do some result. Yeah, it can be. I'm thinking about how you will save it. We can save it as a list or as a whole string. Let's do the whole string. So we will do empty string, and we can do result, and we could do something like plus add line, but let's do it like, yeah, we have to do plus, and we will not use line itself, we will just use the format. I'm not sure why I'm doing this, but I think it's better. Yeah, it's better because if I would just define, yeah, if I will do it normal without anything, it will be the same, I think. Actually, to see that, I will explain the difference between is and double equals. Result2 is result. Actually, no, that will not do what I want. I have to do something like this, because, yeah, I will show you. Result, so ID of result is this number, and ID of result 2 is same number. So this will be true, same as this. But now when this should work. Oops, why you are printing true? Ah, I did 2 equals, sorry. I want to overwrite it. Now this should be different. Yeah, it's different. So now when I do result has still same values, but when I do is, it's different objects and it's false. So that's the main difference between two equals and is. And what I wanted to show in this case, that I saved the result 2, which is this function, and when I do based on the function, this block of code, when I do this, the result should be the same. Yeah, it looks same. So there is no need to use that format. It would be only when I would want to, well, it's easier to do some actions like if I wanted to add for each line, you know, line for example, and I could like count the number of lines or something. Same way I could do when it's just this, I could do like upper or some action on the line. But in this case we just don't care, because I was thinking like we have to care about the new lines and stuff, but when we read the file, there is directly because as we saw in the read lines, return a list of lines from the stream, and yeah, so it doesn't tell says it, but yeah, I mean, because when you look here, this is a character, and then there is a new line character. So if I remove it, there is just one line. If I hit enter, that's new line again. So when it reads the file, it reads also these /n's, which are the new lines. So because even when I print the result, it will be printed nicely, and that's what we care about in the final JSON. Yes, because in case when there would not be the new lines, I would have to do, where is it? I would have to do the line itself and then do new line, yeah? But in this case I don't need to do that. So that's our function. So I will just use access it. I64 is this. Well, I will print it. The IPython saves the input of the line, and now I can nicely copy it and save to here. Looks good. So grep v, because if I would do it in the shell itself, just to show, I can do grep v profile, yeah, because the man grep, the v is invert match, yeah? non-matching lines. Just print the lines which are non-matching the hash, yeah. So, and I could do, yeah, let's do it. Match is this by default, so I can just do it. Yeah. Returns contents of a file grabbed by invert match. Yeah, so if I would have to use separate sets, that would be much more lines and I would have to solve many things, and this is just way easier. The code itself is I think very readable, so I don't have to even write any comments, just write it here. So now I will just add the function here. So files, dict file, and the key name will be how to name is contents, uncommented contents, and it will equal, yeah, I didn't do very important thing, I didn't do return result, because because when we tested it here, we just save the result directly, but when it's a function, we need to return the result. So the output of the function is the string. Yeah. Save it, define it again. Open file and grep v, and that's path. Yeah, we accept the path, and match is default. So path is not defined. Path is actually the file. Yeah, so I will just do this, so it's more clear. No such file directory profile. Because I have it Save it here. Sorry, that's a very big issue. Path. Oh, permission denied. Nice. Nice. So let's see what's the stat of this file. So it's yeah. Only the 6. Only the. I'm not sure how the stats are. Well, we just cannot read it directly. I mean we can permission denied. So yeah, let's just do try. So we can see it's this. So we can do on the width. We can do the whole block. Why not? We don't care. Except what's the permission error? So we exactly catch the permission error. So if there will be something like file not found, which will not happen because we have this if. So we just catch a specific error. So we just return false. Yeah, it's okay. I'm not actually. You might because in the resulting file, for the etc caps printers, there will be uncommented contents false, which for our case will work, but you might return something else when it fails. So now it works. And yeah, let's see. So we get now bigger JSON. No, where is it? Uncommented. No. Come on. How come it doesn't work? That's weird. I hope we don't get permission errors on all of the things. No, that would have to save. Yeah, it's here. So how come it's not for other files? This is weird. Oh, you see what I did? I had file and I changed all of the, So I now will show you regular expressions. Well, now this is not ideal example because I'm not sure how to replace all the files in this block. Where is my Sublime? Here. I'll just use file, replace with file path. So yeah, because I changed very important variable. Okay, I will actually show you a regular expression now. No, this will do. This is okay. Except this. Yeah. Okay, so there might be some errors which will not tell you directly because Python is not doesn't read your mind. Yeah, now it works nicely. Well, in this case it doesn't look really nice, but perhaps there is some way how we can replace. Well, now in the string itself it will still look, because we might replace the new lines with yeah, but let's not do that. This is okay for this. So let's just save that. We can just get the size again. It will be much bigger. No, it wasn't. I'm not sure what the previous size was. I think it's pretty same. And we will see it in here. It will be now bigger. Yeah, it's much bigger. Yeah. Yeah, so for many, yeah, for example, in this access conf, all of the lines are commented. So we might edit the function like if none of the lines are commented, let's just do like none. Yeah, but oh, of course, overloading the PC somehow. Yeah, but for example, for the NFS client, we might get something, and I mean, this is not really readable, but you might use this data to process further somehow. So let's just close this, and by closing this, I mean save everything to us one line script. I mean one script. So perhaps we can download it as a Python, and let's save it to the Python beginners. Oh, sorry, file processor. File stat. Stater, whatever. We saved it, and now let's edit it. We can use it in Sublime, because in Sublime I have it's not this in the folder, it's in this folder. In Sublime I have a Anaconda plugin, which will get through the so it tells me I don't need this. I'm not sure why I have comments like this. So now I will actually show regex. I will enable this, and I want to find lines which start with exactly this character, space, and in, and then whatever else, and just replace it with nothing. So I will just check what it matched. I really have no idea why it did this, but I don't care. And you see, I also don't need this, and I don't need this, and yeah, that tells me this file is untracked, too many blank lines. Yeah, untracked doesn't matter, but there's too many blank lines, so I have like auto format pep8 errors, and it will do it nicely. And now, yeah, I also don't need this. Now I have a couple of functions, too many blank lines. Yeah, I should do ideally all of these to one function, but I don't need to. I can just do if so if we launch this script directly, we will launch main function, and let's just do def main, the main logic, and let's just stop everything. Yeah, so we might call this function like process, and like save the resulting JSON, and also like prepare the structure. But this is okay. Actually, this we want to save to the main as well. Yeah, and we can have like, you know, path and further. So by default we will just have main atc .conf. The dot doesn't have to be there because the ends with will work that either way. Sorry, but it's better to do it like this. So then we might in the end use something like rparser, so we have arguments for path and filter and stuff like you know, where to not have a hard-coded result JSON, but to have it nicely. So again, auto format, yeah, don't complain about anything, and we can save it. Oops, let's do my zoom. Not here. Where am I? So there is no result.json, so it will be okay. Actually, there is like in the open, Python open file, because we use the W. Where is it? No, it's built-in function, so I have it somewhere here. Yeah. So we used open for writing, truncating the file first, so it will overwrite the file, but we can have open for exclusive creation, filing if the file already exists. So we will just use that, which will tell us, hey, you already have the result in JSON, do you don't want to override it? So I will just use this, find here, X, that's it. And Python, well, one of the important things, because right now I could just launch Python and the file setter, but if I want to launch it as an executable, like double click on it, if I would use some clicking manager, some file manager with GUI, and now if I would do that, it would do something. Yeah, it tries to use image magic for some reason. Well, for some reason, it's very clear reason, because in the beginning I have no shebang, and shebang is some browser, Unix shebang. So that's hash and question mark, exclamation mark, and in Unix we just usually do user bin and Python, yeah, and that will fix the error. Yeah, now we have result.json. We already saw that file, the same, everything works. Now if I run it again, it will tell us that file already exists, so it will not override the previous result. And we might, you know, the very important thing, what I did with the def main, yeah, is that when I will import this file setter, it will not do anything, but the file setter itself has all the functions I want. So that's exactly what I wrote, and I can like debug this code using IPython very easily. And that should be it for today. So actually we did some sort of project I did here, but we did differently. But it's we will just use the same program, using just the regular expressions for listing the versions and stuff like I wanted before. But this is, yeah, like universal. This can work even on Windows. Yeah, no problem. So any questions? I think I overloaded people with my coffee talk. Where's my thing? Yeah, that's all, another hour. It was like 10 minutes for me, but this was probably much longer for you. Okay.